dice and just compromise. It's the chance of your life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to save. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like you're fake. Take control of your own life. Without any thought, I keep moving on. I don't even care if my soul is gone. So many words that I should have said. Not concerned about how to live instead. Just open your eyes and take my advice. Stop rolling the dice and just compromise. It's the chance of your life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to save. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like a fake. Take control of your own life. Nothing in life is good. Tied in with sadness.
Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining me on Friday morning. How are you doing today? Looks like we've already got some people that are looking. Basically, on this time, I'm testing it out because YouTube said that this was the best time for me to stream. So I guess we'll find out. Probably between today, Saturday, Sunday, one of those. But it looks like, according to YouTube, the YouTube algorithm, that this is the best time. So, again, hello, Steven. We'll give some people a few minutes to get in here. Steven, J. Prince, Sumit, Summit. I'm not sure which pronunciation it is, but how's it going, everybody? Ah, who is ready for the weekend? Can I get a heck yeah? Heck yeah. See, Deontay. Hello, hey, how's it going? So, what part of the world is everybody from? Let me know down in the chat there. Steven says, "Heck yes, yes." It's been a long week, I'm sure, for everybody. Smita, hello, happy Friday. Shout out, yes, thank you, thank you. Ah, Jeff from Denver, awesome. What's the temperature out there in Denver? Is it still chilly? Is it starting to warm up? Yante from Guyana. Nice, nice. Cool. Texas, Christian. Smita from Ontario, awesome. Ah, Ontario. I went there, let's see, 2019. Um, yeah, good times. Jeff, currently snowing in 30s. Wonderful, wonderful. That just makes me cringe. All right. Ghana, Africa. All right. Wow. Yeah, pretty far away. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So hopefully this time works out for everybody. It looks like we have 13 people that are looking on this video right now. So so far that looks pretty good. And I guess we'll see what happens at the end if I need to try at a different time or if the YouTube algorithm is right. So if any of you are just joining us and joining the channel and you haven't seen me before, my name is John Good. And here on my channel, I do videos on cybersecurity training, tips and tricks, and career advice to help you go further. So anything that's going to help you in your career, things that I've experienced, things that I have information about that I can help you out with and kind of give you advice and guide you. That's really what this channel is all about. So occasionally I do live streams and I'll do question and answers, try to hit a topic, and really just provide more value. So after this video, again, if you're new, just check out a lot of the different videos that I have. I have stuff beginner, intermediate, advanced training, career advice, all kinds of different stuff. And let's see here, what else? So what kind of YouTuber wouldn't be complete without saying hit the subscribe button and the bell icon? Make sure that you leave a comment so we can hit that YouTube algorithm and keep everything going, keep the channel growing. We're up to, I think it was 13,200 subscribers as of this morning. I think it was just a little bit over that. So we are growing a ton. If you have been with me from the start, this started in about October 2019, and we've come a long ways. So there's a lot of different content. I've got better at delivering training to you and content to you, editing and all that stuff. So, really, thank you. And then the live stream is a newer thing for this year. So we've been doing that a little bit so far this year. I think this is stream number 4 of this year, 4 or 5. I think it's 4. So it's been a few weeks. Been working on some stuff, working on some different content, things like that for you. If you haven't seen it lately, I have been releasing a playlist on picking certifications and how to pass them quickly. So kind of all the steps of the process that I go through when I'm looking at certifications, trying to pick out what's going to be best, and then how I go approaching studying for that using things like practice exams and all this kind of different stuff. So there are more videos that are coming for that. So just keep watching and those will roll out into your feed. And make sure you hit the bell icon so that YouTube does alert you when those things come out. Let's see here. What else do we have? So if you haven't seen it, I do have a YouTube membership program that you can join. Below the video, there is a join button. Just hit that and you'll see the introduction video that kind of goes through what it is. And then there are different tier levels that you can join as well. So depending on what you're looking for as far as perks, each level has different perks. And the higher level that you go, you get all the perks from the levels below. And it's just a way to support me and the channel and the community and really just help keep this thing going. But definitely check that out and check out the different perks that are available on there as well. Again, I do a bunch of training videos, as you've seen on my YouTube channel. I do offer them on a few different areas like Udemy and then YouTube. But if you sign up on my website, you get access to everything. So that is the only place that you get access to all the courses, all the training, everything like that. There are some things that occasionally I'll post on there that are not anywhere else. And I just have a little bit more flexibility on what I can post there. So, obviously with YouTube, there's certain restrictions on stuff that I can post. I can't really do a whole bunch of hacking or, videos like that. I have to be very careful. But definitely check that out. There's a lot of good information on there as well. You also get all the videos from YouTube without ads on there. So YouTube pumps in ads. I definitely talk about my website and all the things that I offer on the videos that are on YouTube. All that stuff is cut out. So check that out on my website. Last thing I promise for now is that if you want career advice or you need consulting services, again, check out my website because I offer both of those as well. I've been doing a lot of coaching, career coaching sessions for people and giving them career advice on things like certifications, education, what kind of strategies they can use to get jobs and really just advance their career. And so those things have been very useful. A lot of people have been getting a lot of use out of those. And really, we can talk about whatever you want. And the big idea is that it's a one-on-one session with me. We'll hook up a Zoom call and we'll just go at it. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about to help your career going. So resume review or whatever the case may be. So definitely check that out. And we'll go back here. Let me take a look at the comments here and see what we have. So we have 17 people viewing so far. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Let's see here. Smita says, come visit Ontario during the after the pandemic. Maybe, we'll see. I didn't get a ton of opportunity to do a lot of exploring there, but it was definitely a very interesting experience. So I definitely enjoyed it. I don't speak French though, so that didn't come in too much of an issue, but it would have helped, I'm sure. Let's see, Patrick, greetings from Singapore. Awesome, welcome. Yeah, let's throw this comment up here. So, helps you get clarity on your goal in cybersecurity. I really appreciate it. Anybody that is trying to get into cybersecurity or is in cybersecurity, there's a lot of different paths and a lot of things that you can do. And honestly, it's super confusing sometimes, especially when you're first starting out. So just kind of having somebody to give that advice, I know is extremely useful. And it's one of the things that doesn't always happen in the industry is there's not always people that are willing to provide that information. There's a lot of feeling of just holding on to information, and that that goes with a lot of different things, procedures, vulnerabilities, whatever the case may be. That I'm trying to break down those barriers because that's silly. We're so short on people. We need so many people that by holding that information in and trying to be like the person, it's ridiculous. We need people. If they need help, we need to be willing to give them that help. So Mastermind Rel, hello, hello. I appreciate you as well. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for coming. Greetings from India. Hello, hello. I think we have a few people from India, so that's awesome that this is working out as far as the time. What time is it over there? Let me know. And then we got another person from Canada. Hello, Victor from Toronto. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's take this comment off there. So, there's a few things that I've been working on here. I just want to see this. Now, I've been working on doing some few things really, but let's try switching to this and let's see if that. So, one thing I started doing was adding some different scenes here. So, as you guys donate, um, there's going to be some different alerts and things like that that come up. So that's kind of cool. That's what that is. I'm not sure if I like that or not. It's kind of cool, but I don't know. You guys let me know. There's also some cool things that if you do a super chat, that should happen. So super chat, or if you join the YouTube community, there's something kind of interesting that should happen if that happens. So if anybody's willing to do that or wants to do that, go ahead. It should trigger as soon as you do it. So we'll see. We'll see. Trying out the if this then that technology. So again, working on some cool things, and there's a lot more to come. So I appreciate you guys for subscribing and watching. And yeah, we're just going to keep growing this thing. 100K this year? What do you think? Can we reach it? I don't know. We got a ways to go. We got about 87,000 people to hit 100K this year. I think we can do it, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see here. What do we got? 10 p.m. in India. Okay, cool. So not too bad. So I think this time does work out decently for a lot of people. So that's probably why YouTube, why YouTube liked this time. So let's see here. All right, we got a few questions we'll answer real quick, and then we'll go ahead and hop into the actual reason for this video here. So this first one up here. So unemployed, retraining from net engineer to sec engineer, considering starting a channel for the experience and resume, but haven't found a shtick. Don't want to just copy other tech tubers. Where do I start? Yeah, so that's always an interesting thing, right? Because it feels like everybody has kind of already done something, right? That's how it feels. So the first thing is that just by starting something, so a blog, a vlog, a YouTube channel, putting up a training course, whatever the case is, all of that stuff, just by doing it, even if it's on the same subject as some other people, you're going to have a different spin on that specific subject. And that shows that you're contributing back, right? So just the act of doing that is very, very good. And, I would recommend that to anybody. I always try to bring that up with people when they ask, what is something that I can do to stand out? Because if you can do that and contribute, there are so many people that are just not doing it. And honestly, the chance of you running into somebody else that's doing it, especially right now, is pretty low. You're gonna do it and put it on your resume and apply, and then the chance of you standing out is so significantly high. So that's definitely, definitely a good point with that is just doing it. As far as finding a specific kind of niche or area to do it in, well, first of all, I would say, what do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy teaching people about, or walking through, or creating content on? because that's going to be a really important thing. You want to do something that you enjoy because it's going to make it a lot easier to study and prepare and actually produce things, right? These videos don't just happen, they take work. Um, and, definitely the more technical videos that you make, you might make some errors or things like that that have to be edited out. And just that whole process of editing a video and creating a thumbnail and creating a description or any kind of text along with it and putting that video out there, all of that stuff, if you do it right and you really want to make it good quality, it takes time. And that's not to scare you off. That's just to say, you want to enjoy what you're making it on, because if you don't, it's just going to be a nightmare, right? It's like a job that you don't enjoy. It's just going to not be fun. And so I think that's a very important point too, is to really enjoy what you want to make the videos on. Um, since you're already doing, networking and things like that, I'm guessing that's probably going to be the route that you want to go, or at least start out doing. And the benefit of that is that there are, obviously a lot of people that are doing networking videos, like network engineering and stuff. You have like Keith Barker and Jeremy Chara and Network Chuck and, all those people, David Womble, right? All the big ones. But you also have the benefit of learning from them how they kind of present it in a way that attracts people to watch it. And, so that's a benefit. Even if you're not making it on their subjects, the same subjects to them, you can still learn from them. And then from a security aspect, I mean, there's so many things that are just not being made for security. So many videos, like there is a heavy focus on regular IT stuff and not as much on security stuff. So I think just in general, you can make it on a lot of different security stuff and you're still going to be unique. So yeah, I would say first find out what you like and then kind of go from there. That's probably the biggest thing. Let's see here. All right. These messages are kind of getting crazy here. All right, let me start adding some of these to the queue so I can track them. Let's see here. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Sometimes it's hard when it's just me. It's a one man show here. So let's go through here. All right, so I'm just adding some of these to the queue here, and then we'll hit what the video is really about, and then we'll go from there. All right, cool. So let me rearrange my screen here because I also have something that's pretty cool that I want to try out. So let me open up this window here. All right. Okay, let's try this out. So I think this is a pretty cool thing. I have this writing screen here, and I want to see what this looks like as we do this. All right. All these screens kind of get hectic here. All right. That's what happens when we're live, right? Things get hectic. All right. So, the title of this video, biggest mistake that people make in cybersecurity careers. So, what is it? Well, so I've been thinking about this a lot, and based on, what my students have said, people that I've done career coaching sessions for, and just giving career advice to. Um, this is a real thing. Um, basically the thing is that people try to bypass certain steps of the career process, right? Which is okay. Definitely I think that that has its place when you can do it. But basically, let's take a look at this, right? So, what is a typical career progression process, right? Like as far as jobs. Well, typically what happens is, and again, hopefully this works here. So, cool. All right. So, typically people start out at the help desk, right? That's kind of that initial step. Then people will go to like a sys or a net admin. Okay, and then third, people will switch over to let's say either senior, well, let's say a senior sysadmin. And then fourth, then we go to security. So let's just say security analyst or security engineer to make it easy. And then we have security manager. And it looks like it's cutting off on the side of the screen. I'll move it over a little bit. Okay, and then CISO, right? So that's kind of the traditional path of where somebody might go through a cybersecurity career. So, what I mean when I say people try to bypass certain parts of this whole process, what happens is people see, let's put this here. So, people see that somebody at help desk makes, I don't know, $30,000, right? So, 30K, okay? They make 30K a year. They see that a security engineer, and these are just representational figures, so don't take these to heart, right? But let's say they say a security engineer makes 130K. Okay. So what happens is people see these two numbers, and I got it all over my it's all over the middle of the screen, but that's fine. That's fine. So they see those two numbers, and so instead of trying to get the experience in here, they try to go here, or they try to go, down here, whatever the case may be, whichever one, right? They try to skip all that in between stuff. And that isn't always an issue, but sometimes that experience that you can get in these areas, the net admin, the senior sysadmin, those experiences are extremely helpful, because what happens sometimes when people skip that step is that they don't actually know how to secure or what the implications are of those technologies. And that's an issue. In security, we're responsible for everything. We're responsible for knowing about security, about a lot of different stuff. And if you skip those steps, well, then what happens, right? All of a sudden, you don't know how to secure those things, and then you're kind of a liability. And I see that a lot, right? So let's clear this off here, because it's not just with just reopen this here. It's not just with the jobs either. It's also with certifications. So once this opens back up here, all right, so we also see that with certifications, right? So we might see A plus, Net plus, And again, this is just a representation. This is not necessarily, you know, what I'm saying as far as getting, but OSCP, CISP, and then CISM. Okay. So again, same thing with this, right? People see with certifications, they see that A plus probably help desk job more than likely, 30K. They see a CISP, it's 100K plus, and they're like, oh well, I'm not going for A plus. Forget that noise. I'm going straight for the CISP, straight for here. Okay, I'm gonna skip all that and I'm gonna go there. Well, you're missing out all this intermediate stuff. So all the stuff that it is built upon, and that is dangerous. Uh, for one, I mean, towards your career, what happens if you just go straight for the CISP when you start out? Well, you're probably not going to pass. First of all, second of all, you're not actually going to be able to get certified when you pass the exam because you don't have the experience, and you're just not going to get the value out of it. Knowing all that other stuff, even though it's not as, I guess, lucrative, right? Because if you see 100K, like obviously you want to get 100K. I get it, got it. But it's a building process. You're building up that knowledge, and if you skip those other steps, you're gonna have to go back and learn that stuff, regardless. And it's just gonna take more time. You might get frustrated. You might quit. I don't know, right? But the whole idea of skipping those steps, it can help at certain points in your career, but there are things that are just foundational things that you just have to do, or that you should be really looking at. And I mean, with the jobs, I'm not saying that you have to go through help desk or you have to go through IT, because that doesn't always happen. You can skip working as a system administrator or help desk. You can skip some of these steps, and you can build up that knowledge, but you shouldn't actively be trying to do that. You should be really trying to see what path presents itself to you, and then trying to adjust accordingly. Um, you know, if you get those opportunities that are a little bit more advanced, that can be beneficial because you jump the line. But remember, I mean, you're gonna have to go back and learn this stuff. So um, don't just start out being like, well, I see 100K, so I'm going for that. That's what I want. I'm not going to go for A plus. I'm not going to go work at a help desk. I'm above that. I have an advanced degree, whatever. Like, if you don't have experience, it doesn't matter. Like, experience is important, and especially for those higher level jobs. If you don't have that experience, that's why you get those higher level jobs, because you have the experience to pull from when stuff happens. And that's one of the most important things for security, especially, is keeping a level head, because things are going to happen and it's going to suck. And then, if you don't have that experience to kind of know what happened before, then it's just, you're missing out, and you're not going to be as useful to an organization. Take that off here. What was that? So I thought that was kind of cool with the writing on the screen. That's the first time I've done that on this channel, and I had saw that before, and I figured out how to do it, and I thought that was pretty cool. And let me know what you think. Did you like doing like that? Would you rather me do it on like a whiteboard? But I mean, just as far as this video and just the main topic, I mean, that's really one of the major things that I see a lot. People would just, they really want to skip steps, and it's, having gone through it myself, been in that situation as you're kind of going through and coming up. I do understand. It is very tempting. You go on Glassdoor and you look at the salaries, and I mean, obviously, like nobody wants to start at the bottom, but in this career field, things go very fast. So you don't necessarily have to skip steps. A year means really nothing as far as time in your career. But if you had a year as a system administrator versus just like a year at the help desk, you're gonna learn a lot more. You're gonna learn a lot of stuff, and I really want to stress just making sure that that you don't try to advance too quickly. Okay, that can be a big issue if you try to do that. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's see here. Looks like we got some questions coming in here. Cyber Lola, hello, hello. Let's see here. I got a few more that I'm going to add to the queue, and then we'll start adding some questions up here on the screen. All right. Let me take a drink here, and we'll start throwing some of these up here. All right. Okay. Here's the first one. So the first part of the question was switching 15 years as an insurance adjuster to cybersecurity. I'm participating in a 12-week boot camp that's supposed to be training me for passing the CompTIA Security Plus exam. And then this is the continuation. And they're basically pointing me to free material online. Do you think boot camps are worth it? So sometimes. When you're first starting out, boot camps are generally not worth it because there's so much information available on those free sites, on low cost sites. Like I have a Security Plus course that I have on my website, or it's also on Udemy, and you're not going to have to pay a couple $1,000s or whatever they're charging for the boot camps. And boot camps just tend to be very expensive. They tend to be drinking out of a fire hose and a lot of information at once. So generally, when you're first starting out, they're probably not worth it. Later on in your career, something like a SANS course is extremely valuable because you get additional information, and you get up-to-date books after your certification renews. And yeah, but something like a Security Plus, it can be helpful to have that structure, especially when you're first starting out. But generally, they're more expensive than they're worth. If you're going to spend 5K, $5,000 on a boot camp for Security Plus, as an example, I mean, that's probably more than it costs. That's probably a couple $1,000s. It's probably not worth it, especially if they're just directing you to free material online and they're not actually giving you anything. A lot of these boot camps will give you study guides that you could just buy on your own, and then they're gonna teach that material. So a lot of certifications you can self study on your own. It just kind of depends, and it depends on you too. What you like. If you like more of that interaction, because sometimes you do get interaction when you're in those boot camps, and obviously that can be helpful too. Let's see. Next question. All right. Should I start with Security Plus, A plus, or A plus as an entry level? If I want to study digital forensics, what's your advice? So digital forensics is it's a specialty area of security, and it's kind of a higher level one, right? So you're gonna have to learn a lot of that baseline knowledge, things like operating systems, things like networking, how things work together, because you're supposed to dive in and kind of put the pieces back together. And depending on what you're looking at, you could be looking at like memory forensics or something like that. You can start playing with a lot of open source tools for that. But as far as the certification that you start with, check out my getting started page on my website. I actually give you a roadmap of certifications and skills that you should learn as any cybersecurity professional. It's not just for digital forensics, it's for everybody that goes into cybersecurity, because a lot of that stuff is the foundational knowledge, and then everything builds on top of that. So, the initial stuff, initial steps, the knowledge isn't that different depending on where you want to go, right? You need that core foundation to start out. And then as you progress, then you can really start diving into your specialty area. So if you're trying to get an entry level job, I mean, an A, one of the most important things is getting a job. Okay. Once you get that first job, things start to become easier. And the A plus is definitely a good way to get you into a help desk role, because a lot of people that go into help desk aren't necessarily going to have that, and it'll help you stand out. And then outside of that, the A plus really isn't that valuable, but then you can really start learning some of the other stuff. So learning how networks operate, learning how operating systems operate, learning about the cloud, like all this kind of stuff that's going to be relevant for forensics. So yeah, definitely check out my ebook. Let's see here. Is this really live? Yes, it is live. Here's your question on the screen. It is live. Let's see here. Follow-up question. Which one's better, having a bachelor in cybersecurity, or having Security Plus from CompTIA to get a job without experience? So they are very similar. Okay. Here's the thing: in cybersecurity, getting that initial job, especially if it's your first job, getting right into cybersecurity is very challenging. Not a lot of people do that, because a lot of people will go more the traditional route, the help desk, the system administrator, and then convert over. Okay. And the reason being, you have to know that underlying foundation. Um, a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity probably will give you a little bit more of it'll give you a little bit more knowledge, because you'll probably get exposure to some other things at a little bit deeper level, where the Security Plus is a very broad kind of vocational certification that will teach you high level a lot of different concepts. Now, you want both for sure, right? That would be an ideal world. Um, with you know, both of them separately are not going to guarantee you a job. Okay, it's not a terminal thing where you get one and then you just end. You have to keep constantly learning, and the more that you can show what you know, the better. Okay. um, if you can, create videos or write a blog or anything like that, that's going to just help you in showing employers what you know. And that's probably the more important thing than necessarily the certification or the degree from that standpoint. But with degrees, they don't expire, and um, and really, there's certain companies that look for degrees. Somebody said that. Well, let me take a here. Hmm. So somebody said before that basically, if you start out without a degree, and I can't remember who said this, right? So if you start a career without a degree, you probably start like here, and then if you have a degree, you'll start here. Like as you start to get experience, you'll be like right here, and then here's the degree. So as you start gaining experience with the degree, then it starts to shift, right? Because your ceiling with the degree is much higher. Um, and then without the degree, you're kind of at an artificial ceiling. It's not necessarily because that's your capability, but there are companies that will put that ceiling in place if you do not have a degree. So that's kind of another subject, another discussion. But I highly recommend degrees generally, but don't incur heavy expenses. All right, where did my mouse go? There we go. Okay. Do ASA training, literally rolling through your exam last month. Awesome. I'm glad that I can help. I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm doing all these different videos and courses and things like that. I'm trying to help people, and I know what it's like. I definitely do, and that's really the reason why I make all this stuff is to help you guys out. And I try to make stuff that's relevant for you. There's a lot of stuff that I can make that is stuff that I find really interesting or whatever the case may be, but it's not really relevant to you. And you know the the value of the videos is because you guys want to watch them. I can make videos for myself and then just watch them myself because nobody else will watch them. That's useless. That's not very helpful. So, as people have ideas and things like that too, throw them in the comments. I've had people submit requests for videos that, have definitely been relevant, and then I've turned them into videos. I definitely always look for, what you all want to see. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The initial entry level jobs, the pay, especially if you're coming from a different career field, the pay can be pretty low. It depends on where you're at, but in the world, but definitely the pay starts out somewhat low, especially when you compare it to those high level jobs. Because after, let's just use an example. Let's say 10 years, right? After 10 years and working in IT and security, you will make so much money. It's crazy how rapidly and how fast the money goes up. Every few years you'll get a big jump if you're willing to change roles, change companies, whatever the case may be, change locations. Um, your your pay can go up a lot. So don't be thrown off by just the initial amount. And typically when you see those really high salaries, those are people with experience, but it can go like super quick. You can get up there very fast. Let's see here. Pen tester without any work experience. Help desk won't get me the job I want. Uh, yeah. So your first job is probably never going to get you the actual job that you want because the job that you want probably requires a lot of experience. I mean, to be honest, especially as a pen tester, there's a lot of faith put into pen testers that you know what you're doing, that you have the awareness that you're not going to take down their entire network and bankrupt their company. Uh, Especially with pen testing, but security in general, it's a very serious area because there's a lot of stuff that you can do that will just crush a company. Companies are so reliant on technology these days that if you allow somebody to come in that doesn't have any experience, they have nobody to vouch for them that is credible. Um, it it just doesn't make sense. It's too high of a risk for a lot of companies, and even in, like, let's say network engineering. With Cisco, you have things like views where you can limit the commands that people can do. With pen testing, I mean, you could go knocking on a critical server and tip it over, and then all of a sudden, this company can't take payments, and they're losing money. It The help desk job isn't necessarily, the recommendation isn't necessarily because that's going to get you your pen testing job, right? It's not going to be that. It's not going to be help desk and then pen testing. That's just not going to happen. Uh, but the reason why that's helpful is because as you get into a company and you start working in IT and get a job and experience, you're slowly building up your resume, you're building up your credibility and your trustworthiness. And then you're hopefully learning things and adding certifications, but you're just learning how things are done. And it might not be your job right after help desk. You might go into a system administrator job or a security analyst job or whatever the case is, but it's on the path. Okay, it's not, it is not a terminal job, right? Like it's not going to be like, oh, help desk, pen tester, I'm done, I'm out, right? Um, and that's probably what they are referring to, because I mean that's definitely pretty well known. It's especially in pen testing, it's very hard to get your first job as a pen tester, like having that as your first technical job too. Uh, Again, just because there's a lot of credibility issues and a lot of faith put into penetration testers, and a lot of pen testing roles are at consulting companies, and they might ask for your resume if you're going to work on an engagement. And if you have zero experience and you're working on an engagement or a project, a consulting project for somebody, they're probably gonna be like, no, like why would I trust my entire network to somebody that has zero experience and that's probably gonna run in guns blazing and knock over all my critical servers? It's just not gonna happen. Um, and so that's it. In a sense, it's kind of putting in time just to build up your resume. Um, I mean, you can do it, but also too by showing experience through things like bug bounties, or making videos is great because that will show your technical knowledge. But especially if you want to get in pen testing, bug bounties are going to be a good way because you're going to start working with those teams, and you're going to start ranking up because all those systems, they have ranking scores. And if you're at the top of, let's say, Bug Crowd's or HackerOne's list of penetration testers for bounties, you have credibility for sure, right? Even if you don't have a job, like you've never had a job in the field, like you have actual tangible credibility. So, you could do that and then not work in a help desk. But I think that's probably going to be a longer route because that's going to take more studying, more knowledge, more experience doing bug bounties. All right, let's see here. So we have a lot more questions that have been coming in. So let me start. Let me start adding some of these on here. Put that up there. So how long are you planning on going for? Let's see. We've gone for about an hour, so probably not too much longer. Um, some of these get crazy long, so I don't want to go too long. Uh, maybe another, at most, maybe 30 minutes. We'll see how many questions, but probably going to be wrapping up fairly soon here. I don't want to overwhelm people with these, but as you have questions, I definitely want to answer them. And the last few weeks, we haven't been doing live streams, but we're definitely, I'm definitely going to be doing more of them. I've just had some things that I've been working on, so that's why they haven't happened the last few weeks. But let's see here. Sorry, just give me a second here. I'm just going through some of these different questions that have been coming up here. So there's a lot. Let's see here, and then with the questions, don't spam them in the channel. I'll go through some of these questions that I have queued up, and I'll try to hit as many questions as I can. But obviously sometimes can't get to all the questions. But if you leave them in the comments, that definitely helps, and I can try to get back to them that way. Um, but again, I'm going to be doing these live streams consistently, um, probably every other week. But definitely throw them in the comments or hit me up on Discord or anything else if I don't get to your question. Let's see here. Okay, so just lost where I was at. on the let's see here. All right, let's start with that one. Okay, currently studying for Security Plus and have my Udemy course. I'm just studying, but not planning to take the A plus. What are your thoughts? Okay, so the A plus is very much focused on a help desk job. Outside of that, it doesn't have a lot of value because when you go into, let's say, a cybersecurity job or a cloud security job, it's just not really going to be relevant, right? If you're dealing with the cloud, you're probably not dealing with installing RAM. I mean, I'm just saying. Um, but especially when you're trying to get that first job, it can be very helpful. That is what employers look for help desk jobs. You know, if you have an A plus, probably go to the top of the stack. Um, so it's helpful, but it really depends on, you know, if you have experience. If you're already working on IT, I wouldn't worry about the A plus. I would just, you know, keep going, and definitely check out my getting started page on my website because that will give you a list of certifications and skills to build on, and you know, really propel your cybersecurity career. Let's see here. So this is kind of a follow back to the other question about pen testing. So it's a game, right? Uh, Nobody really, I think, wants to work on the help desk. I mean, that's just how it is because, you know, it's generally not going to be that super exciting job where you get to hack systems or anything like that. That's really not the point. The point is to just start getting experience. The faster that you get experience, the better. Because that experience just makes you look better. Again, like I was saying earlier, it gives you credibility. And um, but if you don't want to go that way, you're working on the platforms for pen testing. If you can get ranked very high, that serves as your credibility. You could probably skip that, you know, that step in the process. But it goes back to the real point of this video, and that's just not necessarily looking to always skip steps. It's not always in your best interest to skip steps. And if you spend, let's say you spend like 5 years working on bug bounty platforms solely, right? Just bug bounty platforms and not actually working and kind of struggling through that. That's going to give you experience, but you don't have, you know, actual work experience. And that 5 years, gaining that actual work experience in an enterprise environment is going to be extremely helpful when you start getting into a pen testing role. And honestly, you could have been doing the bug bounty stuff on the side. So it's just, you know, it's a balancing act. I understand, you know, wanting to do things that you really like, but then I also understand the side of it of, you know, trying to improve your resume and look really good so that you can get that job that you want. So it's tough. Like I get it for sure. But you know, it's think of the long-term goal, not just the immediate short-term gratification. All right, video training versus books. It really depends, but you should do both. Uh, I like to read a book and kind of, you know, take deep notes and really kind of absorb that information and then watch videos on those subjects as well. And I think using multiple study methods is extremely helpful. And I think if you don't do that, you're doing yourself a disservice because sometimes things will click better if they're, you know, done through a video than if you just look at it in a book. And you know, ideally, obviously, you want to have labs and things like that too, especially depending on what you're studying. But I always look for books and video training. So that combination. Cybersecurity, hard to learn from scratch. A lot of technology jobs can be hard to learn from scratch, but with cybersecurity, it's really a building blocks kind of career progression. So you start out maybe in IT or help desk or whatever. You learn about operating systems, you learn about networking, you learn just how things work, and then you slowly learn to how to secure things. And it's always a learning process. It's not necessarily always going to be easy. There's going to be things that come to you easier than others, and it really just depends. But a lot of things in the field can be learned by a lot of people. There are topics that are super advanced and super technical. There are things that deal a lot with people, and it's really just finding out what you enjoy. And if you have a passion for it, you enjoy it, it probably will be more enjoyable, even if it's challenging. It might even be easier because you just really enjoy it and you like playing around, testing things, labbing it, whatever the case is. So let's see here. All right. So for everybody, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell icon so you don't miss future content and future videos as they come out. Remember, I'm putting out videos every week. So, different subjects. If you have ideas of videos that you want to put me to create, just let me know in the comments. Hit me up on social media. And, if it's relevant content, then I'll definitely look at creating that stuff. And we got a few more questions here that we're going to answer. And I think then we're going to call it a day for this stream. But it's been a good stream so far. Looks like we have a couple hundred views so far. And, we've had a consistent amount of viewers on the video as well on the stream. So, let me know. Was Friday a good time? I know everybody's in different parts of the world and different time zones, and you might be working today. So it is Friday. So, let me know. Let me know. Let's see here. All right. So this is an interesting one. So 16 years old. I want to ask you about an extreme beginner that wants to start in cybersecurity. Should I start programming languages such as Python or something else? So the most important languages that you can know in cybersecurity from just a baseline standpoint would be PowerShell, on Windows, Bash in Linux and Unix, and then Python. Those three will solve your problems for a lot of different jobs and a lot of different situations. Now, there are other things that you can learn. There's things like C and C++ if you want to get really, really into things like reverse engineering and exploit development and all these kind of real technical things. Or if you want to dive into operating systems. But those three, so again, PowerShell, Python, and Bash, those three are going to be the bread and butter of what most cybersecurity people use. So I would definitely recommend learning Python, and Python's actually really easy to learn. PowerShell's can be kind of weird. I personally think Bash is easier than PowerShell, but then Python, you can tie in a lot of that stuff, a lot of those commands into Python scripts. But all three of those, if you learn those, you'll be in a really good shape. Let's see here. All right, the best book to prepare for the Security Plus exam. Let me give you a link here. All right, so I put a link in the description there for the Security Plus book. And that is Daryl Gibson's Security Plus book. that by far is one of the most recommended books for learning Security Plus, and that's the one that I would recommend because that's, it's a good book, and I think that's going to be the one that you'll have the best luck with. Now that the one I put in there is for 501, but then it'll also show you the 601 book that he has coming out soon. I believe it's in May, but it depends on which version you're going for, right? Because 501, the current version, the one that's about to be expired, is expiring in, I think it's the end of July, July 31st, if I'm not mistaken. So it just depends on which version you're going to do, but just make sure that you get the correct version for whichever exam version you're doing. All right. All right. So with that, I think we're gonna start wrapping up here. Just a few little cleanup things here to remind you about that. If you are interested in career coaching sessions, make sure to check out my website or consulting services. I've definitely been doing a lot of sessions lately, and we've had a lot of good discussions, helped a lot of people out with their paths and what they should focus on. And, I'm really here to help you guys out. So, as you have questions, if you want to throw them in the comments, the benefits of the careers coaching sessions are that they're one on one. We'll do a Zoom call and hop on there and go through whatever you have. You want to look at your resume, anything like that, and really just dive into your specific situation. Obviously, on the live streams, you can ask me questions, but it can be challenging to get very specific answers and follow-on answers and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I offer that stuff, just in case people want that opportunity. Um, Also, you know, on YouTube, we have the membership program. So at the bottom of the video, there's a button to click join, and just click that. You'll be able to see the intro video, see all the different levels and everything like that. And then, of course, if you want access to all my courses, all my videos without ads and things like that, then check out my website as well. On the courses page, you can see the different courses that I have. Some are being developed, and some are in the future planned. So there's a lot of cool stuff that I have planned for this channel, for this community, and I want you guys to be a part of it for sure. Let's see here. And Steven, yeah, no problem. Again, I'm here to help. As questions come up, feel free to reach out to me. But yeah, I mean, I try to offer a whole bunch of different stuff for everybody because everybody has different situations. Everybody wants different things, and some people want one-on-one sessions. Some people just want to shoot me a message for a quick question. Uh, some people want their resume reviewed and critiqued and really drilled down. So I have a whole bunch of different stuff for everybody, and I try to offer the different options that apply to everybody. That way, everybody's got what they want, how they want it, and to me, I mean, I have the time and the drive to do it, and yeah, so I really appreciate everybody that has joined today and let's check this video out. Make sure to check all my other videos out as well. And we'll keep plugging along. We'll keep growing this community. We're gonna try to get to 100K this year. Don't know if it's gonna happen. I hope it does because that would be amazing. But we're already over 13,000 subscribers, and again, I started this in October 2019, and or I guess technically November 2019. I think is when I first started publishing videos. But late 2019, and a little over a year, we're at over 13,000 subscribers. So things are really growing. Things are going great. We're a growing community, and everybody is contributing. Everybody's learning. Everybody's growing in their careers. if you haven't signed up for my ebook or checked out my getting started page, go to the description. There's the getting started page link and grab a free copy of my ebook. Check out some of the different resources that I have on there. And, there's a lot of good information that I've included in there because, there's a lot of common questions that come up that can be explained really well through that method. But, again, if you have anything, let me know. This has been awesome Friday morning. I know we have a lot of people that are in different parts of the world, and it might be Friday night. But again, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday, the rest of your weekend, and we'll keep doing more of this. So thank you again, and we'll go ahead and sign off from there. So